Welcome to this podcast. My name is André and I bring over 35 years of experience as a healer, therapist and coach. And during this time I have guided people through more than 19,000 treatments, helping them reconnect with their vitality, balance and inner strength. These experiences have shown me that true healing is more than physical. It's a deeply connected to consciousness, compassion and a full expression of the soul. Through interviews and conversations with doctors, therapists, visionaries, coaches and healers from all around the world, Healers of the World explores questions as: what is the real essence of healing? How can we activate our natural capacity of health and well-being? What role does awareness and consciousness play in the transformation? And how do we live in alignment with our deepest truth and of who we are? Every healer carries a unique story of wisdom. By bringing these voices together, we hope to inspire, awaken and guide you towards a life of optional well-being, spiritual growth and soulful expression. And today I have a very special guest, Nina Elshof. Nina is a master in Feng Shui and Ninth Qi, and she intrigued me a couple of years with her work, and I'd really like to share this with the audience. But I think Nina can explain much better than me what Feng Shui is. So please, can you tell me what's Feng Shui?
Well, thank you, André. I hope I can explain it. I will try. I will give it a try. Feng Shui for me is a tool that you can use to analyze what the relationship is between a human being and his or her environment. And it starts all with the house, of course, where people live, because that's the biggest, most important environment you're in. You spend a lot of time there, but there's a relationship between the house where you live, the furniture that you choose, the shapes of furniture, the colors that you use, the textures. And there's a relationship between that and the person who lives there and the choices that they've made to design and shape their environment. And in that relationship, there is this, the unconscious of the person is being expressed. So we think we choose consciously like a red sofa or a blue wall or whatever, but there's always an unconscious thrive that sort of directs you in a certain to a certain choice. And when you research that relationship, and that is what Feng Shui does, you get access to information about this person. Who is he or she? What's the unconscious need of this person that wants to be expressed in the world? So what you see with Feng Shui is, and that's how I use it actually, is that it makes clear, it analyzes the energy of a person and the way that it becomes manifest. So you have this thrive, this energy of a person, the psyche, soul energy, whatever, and it becomes manifest in the choice of furniture and colors and fabrics. And so in that relationship, when you analyze that, you become aware of who this person is and what wants to be expressed, actually. Yeah.
And so you analyze the house, I do. But you also coach them or not afterwards.
Of course, yes. So what I do is when you analyze a house, it's coming from a place of being not judgmental. That's very important, not to be not judgmental. So you just, you see a blue wall, or you see a plant, or you see a light, or you see a couch or a sofa, or you see the way that the house is being used, or you see how books are stocked on the shelves, how the bed is made. So you look at this house and you put it all together, all this information, and then I use Feng Shui, which uses the principles of yin and yang and the 5 elements, and also the Bagua to look at the layout of the house. And there's a certain theme that surfaces, and it's this theme that I talk about with my clients. Like, is this something that you recognize? Is this something that you recognize in your life or in your work or in your relationship? And what I do then next is make them aware of how this theme is being expressed in the house. Like, when you look at the kitchen and how you use the kitchen, this is how this theme is being expressed. Let me be practical. Like, a theme can be an opposite of elements, like wood and earth. Feng Shui uses 5 elements: wood, fire, earth, metal, and water. And wood and earth are opposites. They don't like each other that much. So
Control each other also.
They control each other. Yeah, exactly. So when I look at the kitchen, for instance, the kitchen is the place of earth energy. That is where you prepare your meal and nurture your body. And it's a very important room in the house with earth energy. Now, when there's a theme in the house of wood and earth opposites, then there's, on one hand, the earth energy that wants to preserve and protect and secure the person in the house. So there's a need for security and safety, and maybe there are trust issues as well. But the wood energy is curious. It's spring-like energy, and it wants to explore, and it's curious, and it's impatient, and it doesn't want to consolidate. It wants to explore the new and leave the old, whereas earth energy wants to consolidate the old because that's what is known, so that is secure. And when this theme emerges from an analysis in a house, you can see that is almost always an issue that the person that lives in the house is dealing with themselves. Like, should I stay, for instance, as an example, should I stay in the workplace where I've been working for 20 years now, or should I follow the urge to explore something new, educate myself, find a new job, move house, or whatever. So there's this tension of consolidation versus exploring the new and development and growth. And when that theme emerges in a house and you make the person that lives in the house make aware of that theme and someone recognize that, then they become conscious about this tension that is actually affecting their lives and their health also, and their psyche. But once they become aware of it, they can understand, oh, this is what I'm experiencing. And then the next step is that, for instance, the theme in the house can be resolved by adding the mediator, fire. Fire is the mediator between the wood and the earth energies. But fire also represents, for instance, the heart and your passion in life, the love for yourself, compassion as well. But also there's an element of creativity that lives in the fire element. So when you add that to the house, like, for instance, very, very plain solution could be to add the color red. This red, adding the red in the house can be a reminder to the person, like, I have to follow a path of more creativity, passion in life, instead of holding on to the old in fear of the new, maybe, or just breaking free and following the urge of leaving everything behind. But to establish a relationship between the two through heart energy. What does the heart want? What does, where does your compassion lie? Your passion lie? What do you want to follow? What's the bliss in your life? What gives you joy and makes you happy? That is heart fire energy. And once people find that, they create a whole different level of living in their life, a whole different level of consciousness also.
So you use the adaptation in the house?
Yes.
As a reminder.
Yes.
So if they work with it, they really want to show off that they want to change something in their lives, because they put fire or red or something else in their house. And then they start to change something, some patterns, some stubborn patterns.
Exactly. Because patterns can be very stubborn, but also very unconscious.
Yeah.
They just, they can feel like they happen to you, like you become a victim of your own patterns. And repetitive patterns, you can see like a woman who always falls in love with the same type of guy that isn't good for her, that isn't healthy. And everybody around her noticed this pattern, except the woman in this case, because it's an unconscious pattern. But the pattern occurs because it helps her eventually, hopefully, to become conscious about a part in herself that needs attention.
Yeah.
And that's the psychological part of Feng Shui. But what we use in Feng Shui is the expression of this pattern in the way it is manifested in the house. So we translate the manifested patterns, energetic patterns, unconscious patterns that are that you can sort of read in the house. We translate that back to people so they understand their own shit, so to say.
Yeah. Okay. I know that you also do a 9-star key.
Yeah.
But first I want to ask you, how did you end up in this work? How did you become a Feng Shui master?
Yeah.
Because that must be an interesting story too.
Well, it's interesting because, as a child, I saw a movie with Doris Day. She was an interior decorator, and she was in love with this beautiful man. I think it was Rock Hudson, and but Rock Hudson was involved with many other women, and Doris Day, as an interior decorator, decorated his house in such a way that no woman wanted to enter that house anymore.
Okay, you can do that with
That's straightforward manipulation, of course. You could achieve that with Feng Shui as well. Yeah. That's although not the goal, of course. But I thought, it made me realize as a child, like, there's a big influence from the environment on persons, on people, and how they affect them. So if you change the environment, you will change the person. If you change your home, your life will be changed.
Yeah.
And so there was a big affinity with interior design and architecture. I wanted to study interior architecture, but many things happened in my life, and so I didn't study that at first. I got married, got children, and then at one point in my life, I was 29, so astrologers know it's a Saturn return. That's the moment that I thought, what am I doing that I really like, what's my joy, what's my passion, what do I want to achieve, and am I following my passion? And I realized I didn't.
So you have to transform the wood and the earth element.
Exactly.
And you put some fire in it.
Yeah, I did. So I thought, what is it that I want? And I realized I want to create healthy, inspiring, supportive environments for people to live in. And I didn't know what I was looking for, but it was definitely not a traditional way of interior design. Although I really felt that I needed to start somewhere. So I started a course in interior design. I studied it for 3 years. And afterwards I thought, there's much to say about colors. So let me study color healing. So I went to England and studied aurosoma, color therapy, not to become a therapist, but to learn more about colors.
Just curious.
Yeah, I was very curious and in need of knowledge. And after that, I thought, well, there's also the aspect of materials and how a house is built and the materials that are used. They have a big influence on the atmosphere and the energy in a house as well. So what to do with that? So I started working for a contractor who was working with eco-biological materials. And I learned a lot from that. I wanted to learn how to build a house. And I was very active in that. So I plastered walls and I how do you call it when you put concrete in the fundament layers and the floors, and I did that. I've all done that because I really wanted to experience how that works, how a house is built, and I really studied the energy and the influence of materials on human lives. Especially, of course, there was a big discussion back then about toxicity of materials, used materials, and how you can change those materials into more healthier ones, and how they support the healthy living in a house. And I studied also the influence on electricity and electromagnetism on the human being, on the body, and especially the health issues. So with Draka Cable Company here in Amsterdam, I developed a shielded cable that is more healthier to use in a house. So it's a big story. Then I also thought, there's also the aspect of earth energies. How about that? There are a number of earth energies that have a big effect on living environment and living situations. What to do about that? So I studied that. I did that for a long time. I still do that, actually. So I went to places and felt the earth energy, felt how they influence the health. And after that, I thought, well, what am I going to do with this all? How to put it all together, And that's when a friend sent me a leaflet about Feng Shui. I never heard of it. Mm-hmm. But I thought, I read the leaflet and I thought, this is exactly what I'm looking for. I didn't know I was looking for this.
Didn't know it existed.
I didn't know it existed. I really didn't know I was looking for that, but that was the answer. And I started studying Feng Shui. there was this Feng Shui master coming over from America and teaching here in Amsterdam, and that changed my life. It was like bringing together all the pieces that I've studied before. Like, this is it. Feng Shui brings it together. That was in 1995.
So you have quite a lot of experience.
Yeah, and I immediately started my own business, which I'm celebrating 30 years of business this year. And I never done anything else in my life anymore, just Feng Shui.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're still loving it.
Still, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you also started to do 9-star key.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can you tell me what that is? Can you tell the audience what it is?
Yeah.
I know now because we were traveling in the car to this place together.
Yeah.
But it's nice to... you have a very nice explanation about that.
Oh, thank you. Well, the thing about Feng Shui is that I thought, well, it's very generic. Like, you can create a beautiful and healthy, energetic environment, but what about a person? Can I personalize this a bit more? I was looking for a tool to make it more specific for a person, and that's when I encountered 9-star key. It was just a couple of years after I started my business, 3 or 4 years later. I encountered 9-star key, and I was immediately intrigued in this tool because it's a wonderful tool to explain and get in-depth insight how the energy of a person works. So when you are born, there's this specific energetic concept that you come on Earth with. It's like you have this engine and it needs fuel, and it's this energetic fuel that's literally fuels your engine, that makes you move and thrive and do things, and it's very similar to the explanation that Carl Jung gave to the archetypes. Like, it's there, and it's not, you can't grasp it, but it's there. There's this unconscious movement of energy that makes you love certain things or hate other things, that makes you choose a certain way of behavior or reaction to the world. It makes you let me.
It's like what the Buddhists call the karmic stream. So you come into it, and it's a causality for your next moment.
Yes,
so
it is.
The moment you were born is a causality for the way you react on the next moment.
Exactly.
And that will trigger a whole stream of happening of things.
Exactly. So there's this concept you are born with that seeks fulfillment. And that is a big thriving energy in somebody's life. Everybody has it. Everybody. Yeah. And it makes you behave in a certain way, react in a certain way, and yearn for certain things also. And when I started studying 9-star key, I thought, oh, this is like really the icing on the cake.
So, but there must be you can see the elements in the 9-star key of the person.
Yeah.
Then if you do the feng shui in their house, you must see those. You can see those elements back.
Yeah, of course. It was like I say, the icing on the cake. Like it was not. I could use feng shui not generic anymore, but make it way more personal than feng shui can be, and a level of detailedness that you can't achieve with Feng Shui only just using Feng Shui. So adding the ninth key is really looking at this person in this house and the need for this person to express. No, it's not the person. The need for this soul in this person to express itself, and what it needs to be able to do that, and we are always in our own ways. We create massive thresholds and bumps in the roads and obstacles just to. Those are learning moments, but when you look at the ninth key of a person, you can recognize the pattern in those obstacles and thresholds. They're always the same. There's a repetitive stream of the kind of obstacles a person chooses, and it is consistent with the energy that is moving through the person. So, for instance, water energy represents the unconsciousness, the unknown, the dark. It's very yin. It's very not known. It's the unknown. You can't grasp it. You can't hold water in your hand, and that is what water is. Water energy is like
It slips through the fingers.
It slips through the fingers, but also it is very adjustable. I can put it in a glass and it stays in the glass unless I drink from it or I and turn the glass over or whatever. So it is in itself, it's very inactive. It doesn't move from itself, but it's very adaptable. So when there's water energy in a person's nice key conceptual energy profile, then what you see is that those are the people that absorb a lot of information from the environment, from other people as well. Those are the people that get a headache from other people's headache. They absorb all the time. So it's like the river, you can throw anything into the river. You can't see it anymore. It disappears, but it's still there, and it influences the stream in the river, but the river itself can't undo what is thrown into the river. So there's a bit of, like, I wouldn't say helplessness, but this water energy is very sensible, very, very subtle, very intuitive also, sensitive. Mm-hmm. That's what the word I was looking for. Very sensitive and very absorbent. So they are very good listeners, very good therapists also, when they learn how to work with their water element, because they are very intuitive. They sense what's going on. And but if you don't know how that works, a water person easily can think, oh, this is happening to me all the time. They become a victim of their sensitivity, of absorbing all the energies, the headache from the neighbor.
So they don't see it as a strength anymore, but they see it as a burden.
They see it as a burden. Yeah. So their strength is experienced as a burden indeed. But it is their strength. So what can they do? They have to learn to work with that concept of water energy. So what can water energy achieve? It can sense the undercurrent in any situation. So they can become a translator for the undercurrent, whether that is an emotional undercurrent or societal undercurrent or whatever. So they become they can become the trend watchers, mm-hmm. because they sense the things long before they become manifest. And there's a huge strength, a huge power in that, if used wisely.
Yeah. And we had also a talk this morning about if you were born as a fire or as a wood person,
yeah.
In a really earth element, then you don't look very good at your own elements anymore because they conflict with each other. They're in conflict with each other.
We were talking about education and upbringing and the social environment where you're born in. Yeah. Well, for example, when a wood child is born into an earth family, like parents that are very earthy in their profile. Well, earth is what I said before. It's consolidating. It wants to protect, preserve. It wants to make sure the child is safe and nurtured well. There's a certain hinge of, it's a bit conservative earth energy. Whereas wood energy is like, it's the lamb in the meadow that wants to break free and explore the world and say, "Hi, world! I want to learn to know you." So wood energy is very impulsive and very creative. Not creative. It's curious, and it brings in the new. So wood energy is the birth energy. It brings in the new, whereas the earth energy wants to consolidate the old. So when a wood child is born into an earth energy family, you can see a tendency that the spring-like energy of wood is being,
suppressed.
Yeah, suppressed and smothered.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do that. That might be dangerous. You can hear the parents say that. Whereas the wood child thinks, well, let's explore this then, because I'm curious what is happening there. I'm not afraid. I'm just curious. And when this wood energy is suppressed, it also becomes stagnant in the body. It can become stagnant in the body. And one way to resolve that stagnancy on an unconscious level is by drinking alcohol. So most stagnant wood energy has a tendency of using alcohol as a way to free the energy, to liberate themselves from suppression or the conditioning from childhood upbringing.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Yeah.
So they have a tendency to become alcoholic or at the end?
Yeah, could be. Yeah,
could be.
Sure.
If there is a suppressed wood element.
Yeah, it could be. It also depends on how developed is the consciousness of this person. Yeah. Because Naisaki looks at elements and energy in a person as a concept. Mm-hmm. So you have this kind of big container that is filled with aspects of an element, and which aspect a person chooses to use and express in their lives. Yeah, that's very individual, of course. So within the concept of wood energy, one aspect is when the wood energy gets suppressed, it tends to become angry, irritated, and it wants to escape from that. So escaping from the stagnation of wood energy is one way of bringing in the new. So it's always about escaping something that was there, the previous situation. And it starts with the birth of a person. The baby escapes the previous situation of the uterus and brings in the new by being born. That is pure wood energy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. What about what's the difference between Naisaki and astrology?
And it's a very interesting. Yeah. Well, astrology uses planets as as a means of directing, of explaining a birth chart of a person. And planets are very interesting, but they are that's material what you're looking at. It's not. They don't produce light themselves. They can only reflect light.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Nine-Saki, however, uses the stars from Ursa Major, so the Big Dipper, as the guidance for explaining the energies at the moment of birth of a person. So there's a completely different orientation. One, astrology orientates towards matter, planets. Nine-Saki orientates towards light, stars. So you get a different dimension of orientation. And to me, it's part of a very large cycle that we are in as a humanity, from rising from just being material beings, physical beings, being physically orientated, towards something that can be the next level. You can call it soul level or the spiritual level, or it has to do with light and with energy. And
can you say that it's also an imprintment of the preconceptional energy?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so you can look beyond the physical life.
Yeah, absolutely. You can look at the energy that wants to become incorporated in this life to experience all kinds of things in this Disney World-like Earth life, and then collect that and take that to the next level, to the next life. So the big difference between those worldviews is actually like there's one life, and when it ends, it all ends. And the other side, there's one life, and it never ceased to exist. And that has a focus on energy, because why? It's a law of physics that energy never disappears.
It changes. It transforms.
Yes, it changes in shapes. It transforms. It transmutes, but it never disappears. Whereas the materialistic worldview says, well, there's a body and it disappears, and then that's the end.
Yeah.
And what Nine-Saki does is to reconnect us with this source of energy that is always present and will always continue to exist and never ceases to exist. And what we forgot about, that it's there. We were so preoccupied with this physical life on a physical planet that we forgot that there's a spark that makes us live and thrive and yeah.
Well, this podcast is called Healers of the World.
Yeah.
So I want to have your opinion about. You were talking about there are very strong energetic places in this world.
Yeah.
So I can imagine if you're born on a very energetic place, that this whole energy will also be influenced very differently than you were born on a very bad place or something.
Yeah. Well, that's an interesting way of putting it. I don't really think that there are actually people that are born at those power places, as I call them. maybe in the surroundings, but not actually at the power places themselves. These earth energies are very, very powerful, very, very powerful. And it's very hard for a human being to deal with those power places. So we can go there, perform a ritual for whatsoever, and then go back again. It's like churches are places of worship in these times. And there's a certain energy in a church present, which is hard to deal with if you were going to live there. It's not for an ordinary day-to-day life to be present in that energy. So, but I get your drift. You know, the power places, they're there, and they have a big influence on life on Earth. Yeah, because Earth itself, Mother Earth, Gaia, is a living being, and there are energy, flows of energy continuously going around the Earth in many different directions. There's actually every meter, on a meter distance, there is a line of Earth energy flowing. That's a mild one, so many people don't experience that, can't feel that. But there are also Earth energy lines that are more powerful, they have more impact on us.
The more cross points or something like that.
Yeah, when there are cross points, and also when there's a water current present, that gets it works in a magnifying way. So it magnifies the energy of that spot, whether positive or negative. And what I want to express very particularly is that Earth energies do not make you sick. They are not here to harm us. They are here for Earth's body, energetic body, for Mother Earth. So what we can experience is that when we come in contact with, for example, a curry line, is that the energy is something that we cannot deal with. Our body cannot deal with. And what it does is, curry lines or any other earth energy lines, it flows up through your body, through the chakras in your feet, and it moves through your body, and it wants to escape back to the earth because it belongs to the earth. So, but when there's a blockage, stagnation of energy somewhere in your body, that is where the earth energy starts to pound, like, I want to move on. Go out of the way. I want to move on. That is where a problem is created. That's not because the earth energy is here to make you sick. It actually is a warning sign that there's something in your body that is stagnant, or there's a blockage that prevents this earth energy from moving through you.
You can use the energy of the earth in healing a lot. I use it a lot.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we used to use it in the old days. We used to use earth energies to build cathedrals.
Yeah.
How do you think that they were able, in a time where we didn't have the technical solution that we have now, to make such large and open constructive buildings like cathedrals? Mm-hmm. They used earth energies. So when you measure the earth energies in cathedrals, I did a study on that in England.
Okay.
What you see is that the earth energies are guided through the columns in the cathedral. They go up and then they come down again. And they give the structure of the cathedral extra strength. So it is wonderful to create structures. But human beings aren't structures, so we have to let it go through us, let it flow through us, and not and make sure it doesn't become stagnant in the body.
Yep.
Also, there are other types of earth energies which are known as, for instance, ley line energies, and those you see, for instance, in the altar area in churches, but also in Celtic places like Stonehenge or Woodhenge or Avery or all the famous sites, Karnak in France. We have them here in Holland in the Hunebedden. Those are very powerful places that have other types of earth energy that are beneficial for people. In the old days, monks used to use these ley lines to communicate with each other. And you can read them in the landscape because there are often roads on them, the old church paths from one church to the other. And monks prevented building houses on those specific energy lines by making a road. So nobody could build a house there.
Yeah, you can feel them very well. If you walk around it, you feel that you're a little bit lifted in your energy. If you're very close to your body, you sense your body very good, and you walk and you feel that you come on the cross point, you really get lifted in your body.
Exactly.
And if you have a underwater or underground current, sometimes you get very drained. You feel that you become very heavy. Yeah. Yeah. You can use both in different therapies. Yeah. It's very nice. But you told me a story, and you know that I'm going there, that you slept in a night in the Great Pyramid of Giza. I really want to hear that story again. So I think I've never been there, but it's a big dream of me to explore that more.
Oh, yeah. Well, it was part of my studying the earth energies that created the urge to go to Egypt. There's also a part of past life energy that wanted to go there.
I know.
Yeah, you know. So I've been there several times, and on one occasion I was with a group. I was assistant guide of this group, and we went into the pyramid, and we spent the night in the pyramid. I wasn't sleeping. You can't sleep in a pyramid. Okay. Really, actually, there's so much energy going on. You become really, really charged when you spend time in a pyramid. So no sleep at all. But it was
You don't need it.
Sorry?
You don't need it.
No, you don't need it. No. You are very charged, and you feel well fed after a visit in the pyramid. So it was, we were there and we were going to spend the night in the pyramid. And there was the part of the group that stayed a bit at the bottom of the ground gallery for anybody who's ever been there. When you enter the pyramid, there's this corridor that gives access to the great what do you call it now? I lost the word.
I don't know. I've never been there. But...
The Grand Gallery, sorry.
Okay. There we are.
And there you can go, when you go straight forward, you go to the Queen's room. But when you go up in the Grand Gallery, you move to the King's chamber. And there was this part of this group that stayed downstairs at the bottom of the Grand Gallery. And there were two people that entered the King's chamber. They spent the night in the King's chamber. And I was on the threshold, on the top of the Grand Gallery, in front of the antechamber. So that's what it's called. It's a smaller room, in a smaller passage in front of the King's chamber. And I sat there and I meditated all night and sort of... my task was to anchor the energy of the group and to make sure that everybody was protected and safe, which I did. But the funny thing is, you might think that it's well, first of all, it's pitch dark in the pyramid. There's actually no daylight whatsoever, because it's huge, it's very massive. So you really feel this mass of stones and earth above your head. You really feel the pressure of that. So it's pitch dark, and you might think it is so very, very quiet. And it isn't. I was totally in shock about that, spending this night there, that I thought, there's a lot of noise going on in a pyramid. It's like it sounded machine-like there are things working and moving mechanisms. And I always wondered what it was. On another occasion, I was able to get access to the anti-pressure chambers above the king's chamber. Mm-hmm. You have to. I needed to climb a very small and tall ladder.
Okay, I won't fit, probably.
You won't. No, you won't fit, because the ground gallery is 30 meters in height, and there was this very small, narrow entrance at the top corner there of the ground. Yeah, and there was this ladder leading up there, and it was like wobbling up.
Okay.
It was. I don't know why I did that.
A nice place to die.
It's a nice place to die. But I went up there, and there are, on top of the king's chambers, there are 5, they call it the anti-pressure chambers above the king's chamber. Nobody knows what for function they have. But I went in there, and I really felt like being in some kind of a control room. Like it felt like there were so many beings present, and they were working, and there was this, busyness, and they were pressing buttons and looking at meters and everything. Of course, it's not really there, but that was the sense I got when I entered that room. And that's when I understood this whole pyramid is never has been built to bury a pharaoh. It is a tool to help you travel through space and interdimensional. And that's what I find very interesting in all the power places in the world, like, for instance, Stonehenge or the pyramids or Karnak. There is this very specific energy present that can help you enter other states of mind and other dimensions. So what it did in Egypt is building this pyramidal structure that enhances this energy. So it's a kind of, it stimulates the already present, the powerful energy that is present. Mm-hmm. It enhances it. It multiplies it, so to say. So you get a real focus of pyramid energy is something that you can use to, like, go anywhere, but also come back.
That's nice. Also,
yeah, that's also nice.
Maybe, if you like it, yeah. So we are now talking almost an hour now, but
oh really?
Yeah, it's going very good. But maybe it's nice to give the audience a little bit a hint of what we have to expect out of the 9-star key. If you can look in a couple of years in front. Maybe it's nice that you can maybe to tell something what's going to happen, what tendency can we expect the coming years.
Oh, that's very interesting. Yeah. If you don't mind, I want to start with 2020, 2021.
Yep. I don't mind.
Okay. What I do with Naisaki, of course, I use it to help people become more conscious about their own energy type and how they best function in the world to understand themselves better. But you can also use it when you zoom out to look at what process we are in as a humanity. Where are we heading towards? So what I do every year, in the beginning of the year in January, I organize an event, and on this event I present something about the energy tendencies of the year ahead of us. So in 2020, we had this very interesting alignment of elements that made me realize something big is going to happen. Something really big is going to shift. And it is all to do with us humans becoming aware of that we are spiritual beings, that we have to leave this earthbound focus and understand that we are way, way, way more than just this body with its limitations. And it has to do with, in 2020, what happened 728 years before. And when you study that around that time, we as a humanity started to realize that the sun doesn't evolve around the earth, but the earth evolves around the sun. So there was a major shift in consciousness, like, oh, we're not the center of the universe. The sun is the center of our solar system. That's a big turnaround of worldview. And I realized that 2020 had this similar constellation as way back in almost 800 years ago. And I realized this is the starting point of a big turn of worldview. And what is the biggest worldview that we can achieve at this point in time in our development? That's that we can become conscious about the fact that everything is energy. And that any physical body is energized by something that is long-lasting energy. You know, the energy I work with Naisaki. So when I look at that, we are currently in the midst of a 81-year cycle that is dominated by the element 9 fire. And fire energy is the most young energy that there is. You know, it's expansive, it's outgoing, it's activating. It's also, you can recognize it that everything is about seeing and being seen, making images, pictures, everything that has to do with seeing and being seen belongs to the fire element. So it started in 1955. It correlates almost with the time that Walt Disney started making cartoon pictures. So we see the development of Hollywood movies and everything coinciding with this cycle of 81 years dominated by 9 fire. Well, in 2027, we reach the last stage of this 81-year cycle. Then there's a 9-year, within the 81-year cycle of fire, there's a 9-year cycle dominated by the element water. So we are heading towards the biggest clash of elements you can have. It's the clash between yin and yang, between water and fire. So it will create a lot of steam, I reckon. And it's 2026, so next year that gives us a glimpse of what is to be expected in 2027. So next year is the year of preparation for a 9-year period of time in which things will explode.
Okay, so enjoy the freak show.
Yeah, enjoy the freak show. Yeah. So, and it's very interesting because this year is a year that is dominated by earth energy, more specifically 2 earth energy. There are 3 types of earth energy. There's 8 earth, 5 earth, and 2 earth. And 2 earth is very much about everything that has to do with this body, but not as from a limited belief that this is it, this body, but that you have to nurture it as a vessel for the spirit being that you are. So 2 earth energy this year is preparing us for being grounded in the body, becoming aware of this body as a vessel and taking care of it, nurture it, provide it with everything that it needs to last not many more decades. And the more grounded you are in your body, the higher you can fly with your spirit. So when you want to fly high with your spirit, you need a heavy anchor that keeps you on earth, so to say. So taking care of your body is a necessity, a very, very, very big necessity to be able to deal with, next year, and specifically, I find it a hard word in English. Specifically, yeah, that's it. The 9-year period dominated by water starting in 2027. We need to be able to ground ourselves when things are becoming to a boiling point and explode.
Yeah, so if we have grounded ourselves, we can control the excess of water element.
No, it's not about control. Never. It's never about control.
Explain.
It's about understanding.
Yeah.
It's about understanding.
Yeah.
So if you, I call it the energetic weather. Mm-hmm. So if you understand that it starts to rain, or rain is expected, you take an umbrella when you go out, or you put on a coat.
You can anticipate with your earth element.
Okay.
That's maybe a better word then.
Yeah. So it's not about controlling, it's about understanding. So you can actually use it for the best. Make use of it in a beneficial way. Like, okay, it's going to rain, so I don't have to water the plants. Great. Or it's going to be a hot day, the sun is going to shine. Well, that's a great day to dry the laundry outside. You know, when you know what's going on energetically in the energetic weather, you can prepare, and you don't have to be. You don't have to become a victim of the circumstances, but you know what's going on, and you can use it.
So what you're saying is what's ahead of us, the coming years. The thing you can do to prepare yourself is to take care of your body very well.
Yeah. Very well.
Yeah.
And why? Well, the body also is the container of all our emotions and the unconscious and our intuition. You know, the body is very wise. It uses all the information present in the environment to keep your system safe and going. Our head doesn't know anything. No, it's like, you know, this part of us, our head is so stupid.
I said nobody can predict his next thought. So that's going on, coming, and
exactly. Yeah. So actually, the head is very stupid. The body is very wise. The wisdom is in the body. Mm-hmm. Old wisdom is in your DNA, and it's part of the body. So when you familiar with the sensations of your body and you learn to read the signs of your body, you're way more wise than when you use your head or just the rational part of your body. And so the clash that's waiting ahead of us between this fire and water, between this yang and yin, is actually the clash between focus on the outside world and focus on the inside world. And the inside world is the world where the unconscious live and the intuition lives and all the emotions live. So yang is in complete denial of any feeling or any form of intuition or any form of emotion. It's in complete denial. It is fabricating all these images of, like, when you see this, that is supposed to generate this feeling. But the body says completely something else. It says, no, it's not correct. And the body never lies, never lies. So the clash is about becoming more and more aware of all these unconscious processes that are going on in the body, and learning to acknowledge them and respect them and become more acquainted with them. That's where the intuition lives, in your body, not in your head. And that is the clash that we are going to expect from 2027 onwards. So when you use this year the earth energy to, become more familiar with your body in itself, like how your fingers function, how your joints function, how you nourish your body with the food that you eat, and if that is helpful or not, if that is supportive or not, the amount of sleep you need or the amount of movement that you need. When you learn to understand what the body needs, it's easier next year to make the step towards understanding what lives inside the body. Yep. That can be very helpful once 2027 kicks in and, the shit hits the fan.
Yeah, we have a lot of information on our website, how you can take care of your body.
Yeah,
so
that's your part, yeah.
Yeah, it's also very important, I think, to take care of your body, because that's the way you manifest on this world.
Exactly.
And if you have a body that doesn't work very well because you didn't take care of it, you put yourself 10 points behind anybody else.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So what I use Nine Saki and Feng Shui for is to help people become conscious about what they create with their energies, their manifesting powers. Everybody's talking about manifesting powers. You can manifest a parking spot or $100,000 or whatever, but first and foremost, what you manifest is in the day-to-day life. The way you create your life, the way you create your relationship, the way you create you shape your house and your work. That's manifestation power. So if you use the house to become aware of how you use your manifestation powers, or where it fails, you can improve that manifestation power. And you educate yourself through your house. And then the next step is when you know what kind of fuel your spiritual engine uses through the concept of the elements in your Nine Saki profile, you know what to do or what to not do, to eliminate and to function better, like not only on an energetic level, but also on a psychic level, on a spiritual level. And then the next step is that, I think we are heading as a humanity towards a period in time in which we will manifest anything that we would like. But since we have so much shadow energy still existent in the world and in any individual, you can only imagine that when we use it now at the level of consciousness that we are at now, we create a lot of damaging manifestations, as you already can see in the world. Mm-hmm. So we first have to learn to discipline ourselves. We have to move through this era of transforming, first acknowledging and then transforming all the trauma that's still in the body and that's suppressed, that we don't want to recognize, but is still also part of the thriving force that moves through us. And that is exactly what is going to happen from 2027 onwards.
I think we can only change this shadow in the world if we really recognize who we really are.
Yeah.
That we are so interconnected with everything. So if you harm somebody else, you will harm yourself. You will harm your family.
Exactly.
And you cannot put a border between it. You cannot do something to somebody else without harming yourself.
Exactly.
And so that's also why we started this podcast. If we can learn people or teach people and let them recognize who they really are, then I hope we can bring a little bit more of a light and the shadow will disappear. We still keep shadows. It depends on where it projects on.
Of course. But it's a shadow that you need the shadow to become clear of the light.
Yeah.
So working through this shadow, doing your shadow work is also, let me put it differently. What we see now is a lot of projection of shadow. Mm-hmm. And that is part of this 81-year cycle of 9 fire that throws everything outwards. Like, it's not me, it's him or it's her. You know, it's like, it's the projection mechanisms, as Jung calls it. Everybody's projecting their own shadow onto
somebody else,
yeah. Or an organization or a movement or whatever. They are to blame. And by doing that, you can't see that it's part of your own shadow. So what people can do is to ask themselves, like, what I project on this organization or this movement or this person, what does it say about me? Which part in me is showing in the other person? And the moment you become aware of that, it's already resolved. It doesn't need a lot of work, actually. It just needs acknowledgement and consciousness. And then, poof, it's like gone. Yeah. It's like integrated. And so this shadow, the emerging of shadows is the period what we experience now. It partly has to do, what I say, with this 81-year cycle of 9 fire and the projection of this shadow onto others. And that is going to be increased from 2027 onwards. Unless you become friends with your own shadow. Yep. And every shadow you dissolve in every part of shadow you dissolve within yourself is also dissolving a part in the shadow in the outer world.
I always give the example, if I am impatient, I will have red traffic lights all the time.
All the time.
Yeah. And so if I get rid of my impatience, then I won't have so much red traffic lights. But I also, if I have them, I won't feel any harm. I won't feel nice. Still, so it's look in yourself, what you see and what you see outside of yourself, what expresses you, what is expressed to you, what is projected to you, is something in yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But that is not easy to deal with if we are not taught to deal with that.
No, then you have to take the responsibility for everything what's happening to you.
In everything. Everything.
Yeah. And then you're never a victim anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that changes the way you are in a relationship with anything.
Yeah.
Whether that is the world or another person or your car or whatever. It changes everything in a very radical manner. And we're not ready for that yet.
I think.
But we're working towards it.
I think it's a nice way to end this talk.
Okay.
Do you have to, because otherwise we will talk the whole afternoon, I think. Do you have to add something on this? Still, but you say, okay, we missed this, or...
Yeah, one of the things is that no matter where you live, in what kind of house or environment, there's always room to express a true part of yourself in that environment. So even when you're in a momentary environment, like you're shopping in a supermarket, you still can create an environment around yourself that is expressing a part of your true self. So one of the things about the projection mechanism is you can also use it in a positive way.
Yeah.
And if we start using that, we are going to be individual walking bubbles of light.
Yeah, very nice.
Yeah, and everything that touches the light becomes enlightened.
That's a nice one too. Thank you, Nina.
Thank you.
We will put your website on our the links on our website and under the video. But where can they find more information on you?
They can find information at my website, www, of course, ninaelshof.com.
It's below the video also.
Okay.
So.
And also, I produce a newsletter every week, and you can follow me through that or through Instagram. I post a lot. I have an online study group that I meditate with every month with the full moon. I have online courses, online Psyche and Feng Shui. And I'm open for consultations, for bookings. So,
thank you very much for this talk. So don't forget to subscribe on this channel, and we will have much more interesting guests like Nina. And thank you very much. And see you next time. Yeah.